In their 70-year quest for perfection, Porsche have made some very significant cars, not least the Cayenne. So what is the reasoning behind making a less practical SUV, and why am I strangely drawn to this coupe Cayenne? Join me, Roger Bailey, to find out.
And without Porsche Centre Chester, the friendliest car dealer I have ever come across, kindly loaning us this beauty, we wouldn't have got to see this car today, so a big thank you again for this, guys. If there's one car maker that knows a thing or two about developing its model lineup, it is Porsche, and today we're going to see how this new Cayenne Coupe has sliced deeply into the SUV segment and how it can appeal to those who want a bit more elegance from their family utility vehicle. And could today's style-conscious buyers drift towards thinking this new coupe is now the default choice, leaving the standard utilitarian Cayenne for those wanting, well, a utilitarian vehicle? You see, what I'm seeing here is an unusually attractive object, a Cayenne that's had the designer's eraser and pen massaged down the roof and the rear end, bestowing this slick plunging roofline. And I think I know what you might be thinking about the consequences to the rear space. Yes, well, there's no need to worry, as Porsche's thoughtful designers lowered the back seats by 30mm, meaning the headroom is little different to the standard car as a result, and boot space is only around 150 litres less than its taller sibling. Front pillars and the windscreen angle are shallower than the regular Cayennes, the roofline is 20mm lower, and the redesigned back doors and swollen wheel arches stretch the track by 18mm, giving us this squat, purposeful stance. This distinctive roof flyline that falls away to the rear makes the Cayenne Coupe appear more dynamic and positions our car as one of the most sporting looking models in the whole of this market segment. And to add more style, this smooth roofline is equipped with a full-length panoramic fixed sunroof, bathing our cabin with light. Porsche also offer an optional solid carbon roof, however, I think they've gone a bit sophomoric with that one. Slip inside the cockpit and feel and see the calm, attractive interpretation of how a luxury cabin for the 2020s has evolved. The materials, quality and attention to detail are almost beyond reproach. Centerpiece of the dash is Porsche's now familiar touchscreen, which by any measure is a real class act. Then, surrounding what I think is the nicest Porsche drive selector ever, are black glassy control panels with clever illuminated icons. Touch one and you get a little haptic click through your fingertip. More little lights show up through the black surfaces, and it's apparent we are being treated to a contemporary and accomplished sci-fi kind of experience. Cruising around town in our whisper quiet coupe, feeling slightly privileged and cool. Okay, cool's a bit of a stretch seeing it's me in here. However, during our drive around, it's becoming clear to me we have something new and exclusive and rather agreeable. I'm hoping we agree that the Cayenne has always been the SUV for people whose preference is driving rather than steering a truck, especially those who had a Cayman or a 911 before kids arrived, and it's clear Porsche has stuck to its guns once again. Heading off for the joyful roads in the hills of North Wales, it's dawning on me our Cayenne is not just good to drive for an SUV, it's good to drive full stop. For this we can thank mechanical trickery, or at least a ton of new technology usually reserved for Porsche sports cars. Specify the essential PASM together with rear wheel steering, and the handling begins to be like a 911, so you can dive into corners with an urgency you simply don't expect from something this large. You begin to realise you can tackle sharp turns at absurd speeds with little more than a measured flick of the steering wheel rather than a hopeful throw in. Tick the box marked surface coated brakes, and stopping becomes almost as much fun as launch controlling. Speaking of which, and seeing as these roads are traffic free, it would be rude not to try this out. 60 in 5.6 seconds delivered by this juicy sounding 3-litre V6 petrol is an eyebrow raiser. If you've never felt the performance of a large, powerful SUV, I'd recommend putting that on your list of things to do. Build up a rhythm on twisty sections and you'll be dispatching B-roads with all the grip, poise and traction you could ever wish for, and our clever Cayenne provides all the confidence you could ever need as a driver. So are there any downsides? Well, let's remember this is an SUV and has to work to some degree off-road, and it's fair to say this is no Land Rover product, so it's gonna come unstuck like your average four-wheel drive estate car, isn't it? Well, to make sure that one is quash, Porsche has installed among the various off-road setting features like Porsche Torque Vectoring Plus, which controls the differentials, air suspension that raises things by 6 inches to increase the approach angles and the wading depth, and a trick hill descent mode can be activated for steep inclines. So should you feel that urge to venture out into the wild countryside, your Cayenne Coupe will be a reassuring companion, letting you tackle rutted roads, rocky ground and grassy tracks with a reassuring self-confidence. It's hard not to walk away very impressed from the Cayenne Coupe. It goes, stops and steers better than any other large premium SUV. It feels more like a performance saloon to the extent you'd question why wouldn't you just buy a performance saloon or indeed a performance estate. But when you remember it's also happy to drive across streams, through quarries and over fields, this special car starts to make real sense. So for me, the Cayenne remains the king of large driver-friendly SUVs, and given the extra style the coupe now brings, I believe we now have a king of kings.
Taking the objective view, this new Cayenne is a stupendous achievement, another large SUV from Porsche that defies physics and genuinely drives with sports car vigour. Subjectively, well, that has to be your call, and I'd love to know your thoughts on this one. Is this a car derivative without necessity, or a stylish new SUV that's levitated from conformity? Personally, I've become hooked, and from this day on, my large SUV dream is the oh so cool Cayenne Coupe. Thanks for watching. If you've liked this video, please give it a thumbs up and feel free to leave a comment. I read every single one and reply to most. And if you haven't already, please subscribe and click that little notification bell so I can send you another video.